tonight to our call. It's lovely to have you all here on a Monday night. And I'm really pumped for this call tonight because I get to introduce one of my favourite people on the planet. And David's got this giant bio that just goes on and on and on and on and on and on. And it's in the notes. So I'm going to let you read it, but I'm going to give you the short version as far as I'm concerned. David is an extremely well-educated man. His knowledge of so many things, he never ceases to impress me. His connection to his community and the whole of the Hunter, where he works with Aboriginal people and particularly around kids, is phenomenal. His connection to particularly having just spent the cultural day with David, which was Sunday week ago at an MD school. I think that was my third cultural day. I keep getting invited back. I'm pretty privileged for that. Just to be in his presence, I just absolutely take it all in. He has so much knowledge to give and share, and does so willingly to all of us. Anyone who's really willing to listen, he'll tell you. He'll talk to you. And he tells the worst jokes, though, I must say that. They're pretty shit, David. You've got to work on your repertoire with your dad jokes. I can put that down.
Because I'm a dad.
But that's the worst thing I can say about this man. David has many roles to play in his week to week. Dad being one of them, definitely. But where he fits into our piece of the puzzle with Juice Plus is with Nutrition Plus. He sits on the board. He's been around Nutrition Plus. Is it 6 years, Dave?
7.
7? Okay, so almost as long as I've been around. He's been around. And he is our community officer that helps put projects together so that the money that is raised with Nutrition Plus then has to be spent. And Dave is the person that is the amazing connector and has been my go-to for all the projects that I've helped to get running for Nutrition Plus. So it's such a great honour to have you on our call, mate. You are part of our mesh team anyway. You're a sideline, you're a franchisee, you're a partner. Sorry, partner, have to edit that, Joel. And, you know, it's great to have you on this broader journey with us, inspiring healthy living with the product, but then to be able to link arms with you and work with Nutrition Plus is just, it's truly is amazing. So tonight I've asked David to have a chat about the role of Nutrition Plus, the sorts of projects that Nutrition Plus is running, and how it all fits together, how we get involved more specifically, but also just to share his knowledge and, you know, so much insight around this man. So I'm going to hand over to you, David, and give you the floor. And please, if you have questions, pop them in the chat. No, Joel's going to manage that, right, Joel? Because I'm on my phone. And yeah, Joel will manage the chat. So if you've got questions of David, keep them coming, and then we'll monitor that at the end of David's chat. So take it away, buddy.
Oh, look at that, full screen. Okay, thanks, Fee. Very dear friend of mine, and appreciate getting an invite to the Mesh call. I saw the bio that you managed to get. How embarrassing. Time there is so much knowledge, wisdom, and stuff to learn from this planet and from Australia, from this land. So I want to acknowledge that, and I want to acknowledge that everyone sitting here tonight, having walked a path, whether they realise it or not, that's been laid out for them by their ancestors, starting with their parents, their grandparents, and so on. And I think that's important because we're in each other's stories. both the fact that you support us at Nutrition Plus. You're doing your Juice Plus biz. You're a partner. I do a little bit Juice Plus biz myself, but we're in each other's stories. In particular, the leaders within the MESH team, I've had a fair bit to do with over the years and regard them as some of my closest Juice Plus partners. That word's been taken, but Juice Plus people and some really good friends of mine. So I kind of feel like a part of the team, which is neat. Tonight, I just thought I would do what I normally do, is just share a little bit about what does Nutrition Plus do. I try and not assume that everyone's across that. We're getting consistent feedback a lot, which is good. That, you know, there's still a lot of awareness to create about the work that Nutrition Plus does. We are the charity of the Juice Plus company, which means we're one of your charities. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about what sort of work we do, how you might get involved, and then sort of take it from there if that works for you. So, yeah, cool. All right, okay. There you are on the right-hand side of the screen. That's pretty neat. So, yeah, we've presented for a few years now at our big flagship event for the Juice Plus company, and it's the same for Nutrition Plus at conference. And we have NMD school, and then we've also now undertaken the Variety Children's Bash, which is a rally in the 2 cars this year. So along with probably the Row for Children's Health, they're our big awareness-based events. Now, Nutrition Plus started 11 years ago by Dr. Louise Glennie, and Louise isn't in the country at the moment. She's gallivanting around the Northern Hemisphere and getting herself ready to gate crash into the US. Louise is one of my dearest friends. She started the charity to try and make a difference, particularly in Indigenous health and wellbeing. She was touched by some of the really deep issues that are facing Aboriginal people in this country when she was at university. And then when she took on the Juice Plus business with her very unique and big-hearted husband, Peter Glennie, she thought there was an opportunity to maybe do something. And it's been a bit of a journey. We now have a presence across nearly every state in Australia, and we're now, of course, expanded in New Zealand, which is really cool. The board consists of, some of you who mightn't have got to conference, we have a number of directors now who are on the Nutrition Plus board, along with Dr. Louise Glennie. There's myself, David Neal, Elsie Stewart, who was on stage with us at conference, Nathan Brennan, who was around, wasn't on stage with us, Garth Russell, Dr. Kate, I shouldn't say Hartig, I just changed the name, and that's it. Oh, and Stephen Stables, that's our board. Over the years, that's changed a little bit. So that's us doing the do. And there's 3 main pillars to Nutrition Plus and what we do. So there's 3 main categories to our work and what that looks like. So we have a schools pillar of work. We have a small grants pillar. And then we have the 10 million meals, which is connected to the Global Juice Plus Foundation. So starting with our presence in schools, firstly, from how all our projects work, it's relationship based. So we don't actively go out and source or go out and try and locate projects. It's referred to us through the likes of this awesome team here at MESH, our Juice Plus partners, their relationships, connections they might have. Whether it's just been a brief engagement with that project or program or organisation, or if it's something they've been really attached to for a long time and feel that Nutrition Plus could add value or it's a good fit. We work with like-minded non-for-profits and other charity organisations that are working in a similar space. That's something also that I'll talk about with the grants. So with schools, we have 2 presents in a school. We can offer support to get a breakfast club up and running, whether it's already something they're doing or help them start that. And we utilise the Juice Plus products. A lot of the time it's the soft chews and the shakes to do that. And or a bush tucker fruit and veggie garden. Some schools have one, the other, some have both. There is no requirement for either in the application process. They liaise with me mostly at the beginning, and it's a conversation about what it looks like for the support in the school. key to our school projects, and in fact, all our projects, because we're not into service delivery. So it has to be led by someone on the ground, which is how we get our ambassadors. And for those, Fee's one of our ambassadors, Mick Egan, someone who's led Trudy Snow, someone who's led our projects and is a link to those. That's a Nutrition Plus ambassador. School projects have to be signed off by the principal. So sometimes that's caused a little bit of a blockage or slowed the process down, but they have to be across it. And there needs to be engagement with the school executive, the P&C, and in particular, the Aboriginal community, or the community of that school. So everyone's aware, because we want to be transparent. We're very transparent and open about our relationship with Juice Plus, as you would expect. And then we take the process from there. Once an application is completed, and that's my role, I hand that over, it gets reviewed to the board. And if it's successful, that's when my offsider, Elsie Stewart, she gets really her teeth into the project. Pardon me. We, in the schools that we support across the different states in Australia and in New Zealand, we have various support channels in a project. They're not all exactly the same. So some schools put a budget together and ask for financial support to have someone oversee breakfast club, or someone do a little bit of work a couple of hours a week to maintain and be the leader of the fruit and veggie bush tucker garden. So it's about conversations. So we're open to those ideas, but the budget needs to be pretty clear. And the more detail we get, the faster and the easier the decisions can be made by the board. And, we try and get out and visit those particular schools. Every term we ask for feedback, photos, good news stories, because we have an obligation and responsibility to report back to all you guys who support Nutrition Plus. And when I say that, that's hand on the heart, absolutely genuinely. Everyone from being a customer through being a partner, franchise partner, and those that are making extra donations to the charity. While I'm mentioning that, actually, I do want to clarify that the donation that you make is not compulsory. I got some feedback recently that I told a joke and it didn't land real good. So I apologise for that at Super Saturday. We won't chase you. We won't come after you. We won't go to your house and demand the money. That's just a joke. It's completely compulsory. But at SDVF, you make a 0.5, 0.5% of your monthly commission. Pardon me. You can opt out of that. There should be an email process. And again, recently we had some technical difficulties where email receipts went out for donations and that wasn't accurate. And on top of that, you can make more monthly donations too. So it is not compulsory. So just want to say that. So that's the school component. Some schools will put into their application thereafter the shakes, which is aligned to the 10 million meals. It does get a little bit tricky, and some of our Deadly program supporters get confused with, how does that work? Because 10 million meals is a standalone project. So, for example, the Reach Foundation here in Newcastle that support the homeless on a Friday night, and the Deadly fellas down at Burleigh, the Walk With Us mob that Fee is a driver of, same deal. They take the 10 million meals, they get the shakes, and then every now and then we supply some soft chews as well. So it gets a little bit tricky. Schools, we sort of just encourage them to put it all in the one application. So that's the school stuff. My cup of tea. Can you see that? Look at that. Oh, it's reversed. Can you read what that says? Dad's special mug. Yeah, Father's Day present a few years ago. The second one is our small grants. So as I mentioned, like-minded non-for-profits charities working in a similar space, health and wellbeing, Indigenous community, homelessness, where a certain amount of money, generally up to $10,000 unless reviewed and, submission is put in to ask for more of that, to help a project either get over the line or add value or another string to the bow of that project. Pardon me. So similar again, liaise with me. Our budget definitely needs to be put in to help us be aware of where that funding is going. The more information we have, the better. And it also empowers us to really choose and make sure the money that we are passing on and that we're giving to organisations, that comes from our supporters and our donors, to make sure that it's in line with what it is that Nutrition Plus is committed to. So, for example, over the years, we've supported festivals, music festivals or community events, and in their budget, some of the line items haven't quite fit in our scope of works, like, pardon me, providing sound system or paying performers. And we kind of say, look, not able to support that. However, we really like the fact that you're going to be putting on a healthy feed, you're going to be running a workshop on eating clean, and so then we're able to fund those components rather than just say, sorry, you're out the door, unlucky. It allows us to support aspects of that festival, and it's worked really well. So that helps us, information. Pardon me. And the last one, the 10 million meals, part of the global Juice Plus Foundation, commitment that we've put our hand up to help roll that out. As Fee mentioned it recently at Super Saturday, actually you mentioned it at NMB School. It's something that's not our initiative. That comes from the bosses, the creator and founder of our awesome company, Jay Martin, and we just put our hands up on behalf of the Juice Plus franchisee partners in Australia and New Zealand and say, we want to be a part of helping 10 million meals get rolled out across the globe to people that need that nutritional support. I think, pardon me, the first 6 to 7 months we said we put a hand up for 10,000 meals in the first year. And after about 7 months, we hit that. And so we've just moved that benchmark away, and we just keep pushing into that space. And we're currently at 2,500, we spoke about this at conference, 2,500 serves of Juice Plus every week is being provided by Nutrition Plus because of the support that we get from you deadly fellas like in Mesh. So they're the 3 pillars of Nutrition Plus. We have a presence in your neck of the woods if you're in, well, I shouldn't say your neck of the woods because I don't know exactly where everyone is, but that southeast Queensland pocket, Gold Coast and Sunny Coast. Yeah, I know that's not the centre of the universe, but it is a really nice place and it is a nice part of Australia because we have a strong presence up there, and we feel that it's also only fair that we reflect the relationships that we have with programs and projects is a reflection of the buy-in and support we get from awesome teams like Mesh. So when I say we don't go looking for projects, we certainly have hotspots that as a board and as a charity, we're aware of. Look, we want to make sure we have a presence in this footprint area because of the awesome support we get. So I think I mentioned this at Super Saturday that I believe there is a bit of scope to have more of a presence in that northern sort of Gold Coast, Sunny Coast area, but that's pretty much what we do. I do need to say that Nutrition Plus was started and continues to work in a reconciliation space. We make no bones about that. The Indigenous Australians are the most disadvantaged Australians, and sadly, there's still a lot of work to do in that space. And, working in charity and you're working where the need is, that's where the need is. So that's why a lot of our projects have that heavy presence. And it allows us to do our bit. It allows us to respond also, and this is something that we talk about a lot for Juice Plus partners to consider. It allows us to respond to over 80% of adult Australians who have said, giving is important to me. Nearly 14 million adult Australians have contributed in a 1-year period to a charity or a non-for-profit. Pardon me. So when Juice Plus franchise partners talk about we're the company with a heart, Nutrition Plus, in my opinion, should be then the ... to then demonstrate that. We have the Healthy Start for Families, and we also have this awesome charity that is working with people that need support nutritionally and with the health and well-being. And the numbers are phenomenal. Those adults gave well over 12.5 close. In fact, it was nearly $13.5 billion in that 1 year. So we know what we take away from that is we know there are a lot of people out here in Australia that have got big hearts and are committed to giving. So yeah, I'm going to have another drink because I'm losing my voice. So that's pretty much the Nutrition Plus story. We have a presence in New Zealand as well. So if there's anyone that happens to be over in Aotearoa in the mesh team, give them a little shout out. And if you maybe want to throw some questions now, Joel, or feed back to me, yeah, have a shot. Or there's something in the chat. Hang on. Yeah.
Awesome. It's always great to hear you talk so passionately about our charity and yet the whole 10 million meals program. It's amazing to think what that's rolling out globally from the Juice Plus Foundation. And the other exciting thing for Nutrition Plus is when David talks about the contribution, that's a global thing too. People who hit senior direct position contribute 0.05% of their commission back to the charity. And it's, you know, it's all these small amounts that help big programs. And the great part is Louise went into that and said, well, the contributions that come from the Australian, New Zealand franchisees, can Nutrition Plus have that? Which is awesome because it does. It comes back to Nutrition Plus rather than going into the Juice Plus Foundation as a global project and then having to be resent out. So the more successful we are, the more successful our charity is, which I absolutely love. And probably the other thing, and I know I can hear you choking up there, David, so I hope it's not too serious with the peanuts. Hopefully not going to anaphylaxis or anything crazy. But the other thing that I love hearing David talk about is story and the importance of our story. And he's touched on that earlier. But David, do you want to just touch on like from the farmer? I love the way you speak about the importance of how the Juice Plus journey starts.
About connecting back into the product.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So something a few years ago that one of it is our senior cultural advisor, Jamir Paul Gordon, to Nutrition Plus and to a number of directors of the Juice Plus company, and he comes to us on the NMD School Cultural Day. Something he gave me to share with the leaders on one of the first tours. I asked, what would you like me to sort of share with the leaders on our drive up while we're waiting to go across on country, go for the day? Pardon me. So he said, well, and now I'll paraphrase my cultural grandfather. So the idea is that gets you to think about the leaders in particular, but all of us in Juice Plus, whether we're on the product as a customer, we're just starting as a VF, we're starting as a franchise partner, whether we've been doing it for years and we're knocking on the door of Q or NMD. We are getting the benefits from an unbelievable product. And the benefits nutritionally, but also some of the financial freedoms that it can offer us when we're working the business. And so he, pardon me, wanted me to get people to think about, well, your success and the reason why you're on this day and the reason why you're going so well in Juice Plus has everything to do with what's in that product. It's the awesome product. You know, it's second to none in the world. It's the most researched product in the world. We know that trick well, it's not a trick. We know that when you ask Siri, what's the most researched product in the world, the Juice Plus comes up. Be careful how you say that, by the way, because some other interesting things can pop up if you mispronounce something. That's another story. So we know we have the best product in the world. It's clean, it's natural, no pesticides, herbicides, no fungicides. But it comes from Mother Earth. That's where it comes from. And we know, some of us know about the work, the really strong work that the Juice Plus company and that the farmers put into making sure that the product's tested, that the soil is accurate, it's as close as you can get to being organic. You know, the relationship with the farmers and the generations of people that own that farm, we understand this. So the question is then, well, what are you doing to give back to that? So what's your relationship with the fruits, veggies, berries, grains, all of the stuff that comes out of Mother Earth, the algae for our omegas? What's our relationship with that? And what are we doing to give back to that? Because it's giving us so much. Pardon me. And many, many years ago, all of us, all of our ancestors, whether you want to acknowledge it or not, we lived off the land and we had a relationship with it. And so that was something that he imparted on me to share with the leaders and say, well, what are you doing for that? What are you giving back? We talk about how in the Juice Plus store and in our world we link arms. It's about giving. The more you give and bring people along and, you know, love on them and, you know, be teachable. And we do so much about it's not about you, it's about your team. And when you have that, you're gonna grow. What are you doing about that product? What are you doing about the planet? Because we're doing some pretty ordinary things to this planet. And we know the quality of fruits and veggies is not what it used to be. So that's something that he imparted with me. And it really resonated with me. You know, it connected to me on a spiritual level, on a cultural level, but on a health and well-being and environmental level, because it's a disaster what's happening. So that's something that I would encourage you to think about. And we don't always have to go out there and do stuff the loudest and the proudest, splash it over social media, put up a banner and let everyone, you know, we can do things for, you know, in that space of giving back on the smallest little level. And the feedback that I've had over the years of sharing that story and getting our leaders to think about that has been really positive. And so I'm going to continue to share that and get people to think about it, because sometimes we just need to slow down, to speed up, and just hear another conversation. And the other really important thing that I like to talk about is to know your story. So put that in your story, have your relationship with your fruits and veggies and your berries and the planet and knowing where that comes from, but also know your own story. And in Nutrition Plus is in your story. It's a part of this company. And one really powerful thing about if you know your story, if you know your past and you know where you've come from, it sort of explains how you got here today. And the more you know about how you got here today, the better you're going to be able to think about, well, what does tomorrow look like? So there, you know, and that's wisdom that's been passed on to me. It's not my knowledge. And knowledge is power, but only when you share it. That's something that Johnny Paul Gordon imparts to people all the time. And again, you can make that work for your Juice Plus business. Knowledge is power, but only when you share it. It's what we do. We share. I've heard the greatest leaders in our business say you're professional storytellers. So have a good story to tell. Know your story and smash it.
Love it. Thank you so much. I do love that, going right back to
double dose.
how you all got here in the first place. And it wasn't necessarily the person that introduced you. We're here because we've got this amazing product that's been on this journey way before many of us even knew about it. So amazing. Does anyone have any questions for David at all about Nutrition Plus or about anything that you've heard tonight or anything there at all?
Question. I'm going to be greedy. I think I have two. David, I'd like to know, maybe you and Fee can share, like I'm learning, I heard from Steve Coulter and a few people that there's many doors to lead us into the conversation about Juice Plus, and I'd really like to learn how to share Nutrition Plus as one of the doors. How do I bring people into the business, into the product by sharing Nutrition Plus?
I'll have a crack at that, Fee, if you don't mind. Okay. Good question. Steve Coulter, the man, the enigma. And Fee came up with that analogy down at conference, you know, doorways, but, you know, the pathways into the Juice Plus building. So what I've found, and it's both how I've operated as a Juice Plus partner over the last 4 years and what I've passed on and then given and then have been given feedback that seemed to work, is in your conversations, I think you're probably already equipped and skilled at listening for the signal. And when you're like, okay, game on, I'm going to have a juice plus yarn with this person. Whether it's like me tonight, someone's coughing around you, or they're talking about the job they hate, or they're, I've got this happening, or whatever is the switch for when you talk that you're right, however that is for you. What I listen for and what I've given feedback is exactly what I mentioned before. When you start talking about how awesome this company is and how you love working for it and representing and being a partner because it's got a big heart, right there is where you then say, now I'm not sure if you're aware, I know that, and you can use some of the data and the stats that I've just shared with you before and say, I know that it's important for a lot of Australians, this idea of being able to give, but I love that our company has a charity that is making a difference for very, very disadvantaged people across wherever it is that you are. If you want to talk about your state, this country, or in New Zealand, and you just drop a couple of little examples. I love that they're doing work for disadvantaged children in Indigenous communities. I love that they're supporting homelessness projects. I love that they're providing nutritional support to those that need it most. And then you can just say, and it really means a lot to me that why I'm doing my business without me even knowing, I'm supporting that charity. It can be like that. If you have, if your conversation with that person is coming in from the business point of view, whether that's talking about maybe they need nutritional support, they're struggling to bridge that gap, I just sort of say the conversation doesn't need to change, because ultimately if you're stepping through what Fee used to say about just basically working your way through the little brochure that we used to have, that flyer, is that it's a map put out for you. And it might actually be, for example, I've had conversations with people in their workplace every month. They have a morning tea and they choose a charity. And you may not have had any conversation about Juice Plus, or you haven't talked about it, and you're in the workplace, or you're invited to be a part of that, and you're talking about that, and you say, well, again, you say, oh yeah, charity is such an important thing in this country. It's such a big deal for Australians. I'm so glad I'm a part of a really important charity, Nutrition Plus. Have you heard about it? Oh, okay. Well, they work to change the nutritional health and wellbeing story of disadvantaged children and communities in Australia and New Zealand. They're aligned to the Juice Plus company. It's up to you, but that's what I've found is a really good lead-in. Fee, if you want to maybe add to that, that's sort of what
I think those in my downline team will know that my catch cry is questions are the answers. Like, you're not going to know how to lead it if you don't know anything about the person that you're talking to. Once you can get some information about what makes them tick, what do they like doing, find out what their values are, the moment that, especially on the Gold Coast, like, do you know how many surf lifesavers are there on the Gold Coast or on the east coast of Australia? And what do surf lifesavers do? They give up their time and they do it for the greater good of the community. That's just one example. It's a big example because where we are, there's a lot of us. But it's funny what people like to do in their spare time. They tell you that they volunteer doing this, that, or the other, or that they might do some volunteer work at their church, or might be heavily involved in other community projects. A lot of people are now involved in community gardens. Like, that is a lead-in to talk about Nutrition Plus. Like, oh yeah, well, we actually have a garden project that works in some of our schools where we're supporting underprivileged kids. So you've got to find out what's important to the person before you know what door to take them in. And that's why we talk about the house. It's actually changed. I've got a picture for you. I'll put it up in mesh. It's actually a house full of windows now, because my architectural son was really not happy about the house having 10 doors. There's no way I'm drawing that for you. Rethink it. You can have 10 doors. But do you know the other thing Tom said to me when he created this image, and he's been around Juice Plus as long as I have, he said, Mum, Juice Plus is a very transparent company. He said, you want them to window shop. He said, let them look at it from the outside. Let them look at the house of Juice Plus, the shop as we like, and figure out what window they want to go in and explore, and let them come in the door and see what else is in there. I'll put this image up in Mesh Tom created for me before I went to NMD school. But yeah, it really is listening to find out what's important. As Dave already touched on, and we've spoken about many times already in this year at conference and what have you, people want to give. And as I said at NMD school, if you've had a birthday in the last 12 months at all, and if you are on Facebook, you know that the week before Facebook knows it's your birthday. It's asking you if you want to nominate a charity and do some fundraising. Now, if Facebook is saying there's a philanthropic society out there, people want to give, people want to be involved, people want to do something more than just for themselves, then it must be right, okay? Because Facebook knows everything about all of us. They know it's Big Brother. They're probably watching now. Hi, Facebook. They know everything. Okay, and they know that we are giving. They know that we click on things about charities and donating and all that kind of stuff. So people are interested. So just make it one of the ways that you talk about it. You can even start with somebody. Have you ever, done one of those donation things or charity things for your birthday? Like, that's something that you could ask somebody. That's not a hard question. Someone going to go, oh yeah, I love doing that, and I do this and da 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 da. And then you know that that's a value of theirs, not then jump in with, well, we have a charity. But it just, you'll know that you're building that relationship and that where their values are. So questions are the answers, guys. You've got to find out what makes them tick.
Yeah, and I think the other thing I really want to mention with that data and that information about people giving is that's a phenomenal amount of money. It was $13.5 billion. It worked out the average was over $650 a year per person that was given. Like that's not $5 or that's not $10. That was the average. And the other thing that was clear in that research, I think Queensland University did the research in 2016 through the group called Giving Australia, Philanthropic Australia. So they found that, and this should be a no-brainer and will make sense to all you deadly educated people and smart juice bus people, is that when there was a relationship, the tendency to increase their give was phenomenal. So I just correlated that to, when I get bailed up down the street by old mate in the koala suit shaking the bucket, or the Lions Club at the stand, bless them, for the lucky dip, or the raffle for, whatever charity it might be, sometimes I can't give anything because I've got no money on me. However, I'm supporting, along with Nutrition Plus, a number of other charities where it comes out of my pay, or I make a quarterly donation, and it's far greater than what I would give to old mate down the street, because there's a bit more of a relationship. I'm kind of choosing it because it's close to me. So that's like duh, because we're a relationship business, and that's why we're a relationship charity. And I love that point, Fee, about asking more questions, because, we get more success when we do that. Someone I noticed in the chat said, who do we contact? If I've interpreted that correctly, about if they want to know more about a possible project, the contact person to start with is probably myself as the community engagement manager. But you can shoot a message into the Nutrition Plus page, and we have a couple of administrators who see that. But I can say safely on behalf of Louise, as our CEO and founder, she's a contactable and approachable, so is Elsie and myself. So it's sort of us three that can take inquiries. Happy for you to share my mobile number, email address, or even find me in Facebook on Messenger. I'm David JP, and shoot me, a question, or we can have a conversation, and I'll ask some questions.
And you can definitely go straight from the nutritionplus.org website.
Yes.
There's more information in there. There's someone I'm having a conversation with now. I've been using the links directly from that website to send them some more information so that they can have a browse around and see what the application process is and what have you. So definitely use that resource as well. Cool. Are there any more questions, guys?
Thanks to whoever asked that question too. I don't know. So apologies. I didn't hear where that question came from.
It was Emma. Emma, like lots of people, after hearing you guys on stage at conference, came to me and said, "Wow," they were really blown away by what you guys are doing. So, they said they felt even more connected to this company now. So and Emma was one of them. So
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Can I actually say too, this is so awesome to be able to come and jump into your team training. But we really want to encourage, because we're not keeping up with that Nutrition Plus. We aren't keeping up. It's like our wheel's turning like that and the Juice Plus partner wheel is going like that. And we get great feedback, and it seems like that everyone's really keen to give us feedback about what we could be doing better. Have you considered this, reaching out and all that sort of stuff? And that's great. We're the charity of the Juice Plus company too, so we kind of need a little bit of help. So doing things like this, and then you guys going out and taking the information and sharing it, knowledge is power, is a huge help for us, because basically it's me part-time and Elsie part-time on the ground, trying to roll stuff out and keep the ship alive, with Louise doing her CEO role and being a director of the Juice Plus company. So we are stretched and under the pump. And so it's something I'm going to start encouraging all of you, because you're all leaders. You're the CEO of your own Juice Plus business. I hope you realise that. So every conversation, any little opportunity where you can, if it makes sense to you, and you're on board with what we're doing and how it can make a difference, I just encourage you to just start mentioning it and sending it through your team, because it's quite amazing how often I'm having conversations with some really influential people in the Juice Plus business who have really strong teams, and they're saying things like, "I didn't realise what you do," or "Gee, I've never even heard that spoken about in my team," or "Oh, okay." So that's something we're going to try and really push into that space. So
perfect. Thank you so much. I think any more questions have popped up there. So, David, thank you so much for your time, especially while you are not feeling 100%. Really appreciate you coming into the team and adding value and helping us spread the word about what an amazing charity that we have attached to an amazing company with an amazing product full of amazing people. It's all amazing. So we have the key question that we have to ask you before you go. The question is, there's a billboard that all the world could see. What would you put on there for them to see?
For Nutrition Plus?
It can be whatever you like.
I would have to say sharing is caring, and the more we share, the more we care. Knowledge is power only when you share it. That would be the key things I would say. And Nutrition Plus is a part of your story. Put it in there and know your story as much as you can, because you're the star of it.
Love it. Beautiful. Thank you so much. Mate, thank you. I really appreciate you jumping on when you're not feeling well. So grateful. Thank you. Have a great night, and keep being part of Mesh Movement with us. We love having you here.
Oh, I definitely will. And thanks so much, guys. Be kind to yourself and walk well. Yalu, Jamata Mamba, Gutty.